Jeepies, I'm your host Sid, and welcome to Do Talking to Me's Scooby-Doo'sDay. This time I'll be talking about Scooby-Doo Where Are You, Episode 6, What the Heck's Going On? This is going to sound weird, but Episode 6 might be the episode I have the least experience with. I've seen it before, of course, but I feel like this was an episode that just wasn't rerun a lot on Cartoon Network for some reason. I might be imagining things, but all I know is I don't have a lot of strong recollections of this episode, even though a lot of clips from it are used in Scooby-Doo Where Are You's intro. Odd. The episode sees the gang invited by their one-time friend Sharon Weatherby to her family's estate for a vacation, and on the way, they spot a man walking like a zombie into a nearby abandoned mansion.
Who'd do a kooky thing like that?
The gang finally arrive at the Weatherby estate, and it honestly does not look like the kind of place you'd want to spend the summer at. It looks totally dilapidated and gloomy. Even the non-haunted locales in the original series look totally spooky.
Well, the last few nights, we've been hearing a lot of strange noises.
And now, it looks like my Uncle Stuart has vanished.
Now, the Weatherby estate is not the main location of the episode. That would be the Kingston Mansion, aka the mansion shown at the start of the show's intros. Within, the gang finds Sharon's Uncle Stuart transformed into an old man. Well, an older man.
He's become an old man.
Stu tells a wild tale of being hypnotized into wandering into the mansion and being greeted by the supposed ghost of Elias Kingston, who demands the Weatherby fortune.
Unless it is returned to this mansion before morning, the entire family shall suffer this terrible fate.
To show that he's not messing around either, Kingston's ghost sets a spell on Stu that really earns the guy his AARP membership. While Sharon's dad goes off to get the sheriff, who never actually ever arrives in the episode, the gang split up inside the Kingston mansion to investigate this particularly odd mystery. Despite the fact that what I remembered of this episode was foggy, I do have to say that What the Heck's Going On is a pretty important episode of the original series. It feels like this is the episode where the show started to find its footing, figuring out what it was going to be in the long run. The background art is well done. The Kingston Mansion is a wonderfully eerie environment. The episode in general has a very creepy vibe that the previous episodes didn't quite have. A supposed death is even discovered in this episode as the gang comes across Uncle Stuart's corpse, and Sharon herself is very quickly kidnapped with an uncertain fate for most of the episode. What the Heck's Going On has a really dark atmosphere, feeling almost like the old horror films that the show was drawing inspiration from. There's this grim ambiguity at play in the mystery. It feels like there could be some actual danger involved with solving it. I think Hanna-Barbera realized that they were maybe playing with fire a bit with the spookiness, so they added some gags to lighten the mood here and there, notably Shaggy kinda arbitrarily wearing roller skates in the middle of the investigation. Also, there's a pretty funny scene where Scooby is forced to impersonate a Swami. Having Shaggy show off his ventriloquism skills he used in the first episode, a rare bit of continuity on the show.
What do you see in the crystal ball?
My reflection.
Your reflection.
The villain of the mystery, the ghost of Elias Kingston, is serviceable. While he isn't the most memorable villain, he definitely has an imposing presence, delivering a pretty compelling hook from the get-go that makes this episode one of the more fast-paced of the original series. Elias Kingston seems like the series creators were starting to experiment with making villains for the show that weren't just directly based on familiar archetypes, creating a villain with more of a unique appearance and mythos, along with actually having a bit of a personality.
Ah, good! You brought the fortune. How fortunate for you.
Kingston is still pretty simplistic, but he's progress and clearly serves as the prototype for a couple of other green ghost phantom guys that appear later in the series. The mystery comes to a head after the gang discover a whole lot of incriminating evidence after a run-in with Kingston haunting a crystal ball. A propeller beneath the table, stage makeup, and a wireless camera hooked up to the crystal ball via CCTV. A pretty sophisticated setup for the late 60s, but honestly, I think that's part of what makes the show so timeless. It's pretty forward-thinking technology-wise. Kingston is finally thwarted through some clever irony enacted by the gang as they use the phony ghost tech against him, making this one of the few times a villain is defeated with a plan that plays out as intended. With the Weatherbys as witnesses, and for some reason no sheriff present, Kingston is revealed to be Uncle Stuart. It kinda had to be him, otherwise there would have actually been a murder on this 60s kids show. Stuart wanted his brother's fortune and some kind kind of poorly thought out ghost extortion scheme. It's not a very surprising twist, and the whole denouement is kind of disarmed by Uncle Stuart's awkward silence as Mr. Weatherby throws an attempted banquet for the gang that Scooby completely ruined, of course.
The whole turkey? Gone?
What the Heck's Going On is a solid spooky episode of the first season, and developmentally an important step for the Scooby franchise as a whole. I give it 4 boxes of Scooby snacks out of 5. Want a double dose of Scooby every Tuesday? Support the channel on Patreon or channel memberships and you'll get a bonus episode commentary. The link to this episode's commentary on Patreon is in the description below. If you like this episode, like it, and if you loved it, subscribe for more and click the bell icon to keep track of when future videos and live streams go live. I'd like to thank the true Wolfulite supporters of the Dr. Wolfula Patreon and channel memberships for their pledges. Their support is greatly appreciated and helps the channel continue to grow. Thanks, guys. See you all in the next episode of Do Talking to Me. Jeepies.